On Blues Radio International, the antiviral world tour continues with a stop in Memphis, Tennessee, with my dear friend Barbara Newman, the president and chief executive officer of the Blues Foundation. Thank you for joining us, Barbara.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. It's great to be able to see you when we speak.
It is. It's very nice. And while we're socially distanced by a good measure here, I still feel that we can be together this way, and that's a wonderful thing that we have the technology to do. Tell me how things are in Memphis.
I think they're in Memphis the same way they are around the rest of the country. I mean, we're not facing what New York is facing. We're not an epicenter, but everything here is very quiet. People are socially distancing, wearing masks. The music scene has pretty much come to a halt. The Blues Foundation itself has, shut down our offices, and our staff are all working from home, and we're just doing the best we can with what we've got, trying to stay healthy and washing our hands a lot.
Well, all of our viewers and listeners are going to want to know about the Blues Music Awards and the plans for that. And I want to talk to you about that. But there's something very important we need to talk about first, and that is the COVID-19 Blues Musician Emergency Relief Fund. Can you tell us about that?
I would love to tell you about that, because of all the things that we've done over the past 5, 10, 15 years, this one might rank as one of the things I'll put down as I'm most proud of the Blues Foundation for doing. We started to see what was happening with blues musicians early on in April, even before we decided not to have the live version of the Blues Music Awards in Memphis. And we knew that we needed to be involved in some sort of response. The blues musicians, and then trickling through the rest of the industry, are really suffering right now. Most of them depend on their performance income to support them. And for some of them, that is their main source of income. A lot of them have been working the entire year before to create a position in which they were being hired and booked to perform through the spring and into the summer. And now all of that work has gone to nothing. So what we did was, when we recognized that we were going to have to cancel the BMAs, we had a long conversation at the board table about what could we do to help. And what I saw immediately was that we had many, many, many tens of thousands of dollars in ticket purchases already made. Why not go to those ticket purchasers, and if they're able, ask them, instead of having us refund their money, have them transfer those funds into a designated fund for the support of musicians. Within about 1 week of agreeing that this is what we were going to do, we already had found a couple of grants. Monies were already coming in from ticket holders, and we were already probably over $50,000 in money. It's still coming in, so we beat that number. And within a week, we had the application up, blues musicians applying, allocations going out, and to date, in just about 2 or 3 weeks, we've helped, I want to say, around 60 musicians in the neighborhood of over $50,000, going specifically for rent and mortgage and utilities and cell phones, necessities of life to help these musicians.
What a wonderful endeavor. Now, this is a massive undertaking given the hurt in the music community. How can people contribute, even if they didn't get in on the initial push with ticket sales? If someone just wants to contribute who's watching this, what's the best way to do it?
It's very easy, and we're seeing at this point as many individual contributions coming in online as we're seeing ticket conversions. I just looked this morning, and just this morning we had 2 separate donations for $1,000 each, which is pretty significant coming in. But again, we're also seeing $5 and $10 donations. All someone needs to do is go to blues.org. When they click on the donate button, they'll see an option for COVID-19 fund. Click on that, and it will take you straight to an online portal where you can make a credit card donation. And if you'd like, you can also send a check to the Blues Foundation at 421 South Main Street in Memphis, Tennessee, 38103, and we're accepting checks as well.
So when we think about the amount of money that all of us who love blues music spend going to live events and seeing the people that we admire, now that they're in need, this is an opportunity for us to really step forward and do something incredibly important and incredibly vitally helpful to helping these people survive.
What we're hearing from the musicians who we've been able to help, and let me be a little more specific for everybody, that this fund, it's got limited resources. We want to have the biggest impact that we can. It's intended specifically for full-time blues musicians who derive the bulk of their income from their blues performance, and who specifically have no income stream now because of the pandemic. People who had very definitive bookings lined up, and those bookings have now been canceled. And because of that, it's changed their financial situation. And what we're hearing back from them is a great degree of relief coming off of their shoulders, that this month they were able to pay their cell phone bill, so they're still in touch with the world. They were able to get their internet covered. They were able to make sure that their rent was paid or their utilities were paid, so they have water and they have electricity. We've helped with some insurance premiums. We're not sending any money directly to musicians. It's going directly to their provider. So we know that the money is being used as it's intended to be used. And it's not only for the musicians who the average blues lover might know the name of. A lot of these resources are going to the sidemen, the drummer, the bass player, the harmonica player, the guitarist, the keyboard player, who is with the lead singer or the band leader, but who is also dependent upon their tour income to support them.
Yeah, and they're often the most vulnerable people in the entire picture because they don't have the out front persona that the lead person does, but they're the people who are getting hit the hardest.
Right. I mean, I don't know how much resources are coming in for all of the musicians who are doing these social media home concerts where they've got their Venmo and their PayPal accounts up, but the sidemen don't have that opportunity. And for some of the lead musicians, maybe they have publishing that provides them with some income. Maybe there's some royalties that provides them with some income, but the sidemen are really dependent upon their performance. I mean, nobody's going in the studio to record these days because of social distancing. So they can't get the studio gig work. They're very dependent upon their performance income.
We also should mention that the Heart Fund is more critically valuable and important than it probably ever has been in terms of helping musicians with health issues.
Yeah, it's definitely still being utilized. And in fact, now that some of these musicians are struggling financially with just their day-to-day living expenses, we're beginning to see, and I believe we'll continue to see, an increase in musicians who do have health insurance applying for assistance because they don't have the resources to cover their copay. In the past, that fund has really helped blues musicians who are underinsured or uninsured, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot more reach for that. And also for musicians who now are having to deal with mental health issues. They're needing telepsychiatry or teletherapy because of depression or because of anxiety related to that pandemic that the rest of the world is also fighting right now.
Well, thank you for these incredible initiatives that are protecting the people who make the music we love. Now, what everyone's been waiting to hear about, the Blues Music Awards. This is the first time in history that it has not happened in a face-to-face way. What's going to happen, and what can we look forward to on May the 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern?
Well, what I've been telling everybody is that we're getting ready to make the sweetest lemonade we can out of the lemons that we've been handed. I'm very sad about not all being together in Memphis with live performance and all of the community that's created there. But we have this wonderful opportunity because we have a worldwide blues-loving and music-loving audience. Our own social media has over 500,000 followers. So there are a lot of people out there who love the music and may not have the ability to physically come to Memphis for a live show. So we're going to bring the music to them. We're creating a virtual show. We're collecting content from nominees from their homes. They're recording performances straight from their living rooms. We've got presenters who have sent us video from their living rooms as well. We've got some surprises planned. We're We've just about finished the in memoriam video. We'll be showing that again so we can honor all of the blues musicians and the members of the industry who we've lost this past year. And we're going to put on a show. Everybody will be able to come together on May 3rd. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. But that means at 10 or 11 o'clock in the evening in Europe, our European friends can watch. And even as far away as Australia can join us the next morning and watch us on Friday morning as we're broadcasting this in the afternoon. The timing was specifically set so that we would have an audience that could watch. We considered doing it on May 7th in the evening, but we knew that not everyone around the world could join us. And we felt that a work day in the daytime, there were people still working. So we're doing it on a Sunday when people are at home anyway, and hopefully we'll get hundreds of thousands of people tuning in.
I'm positive you will, and I think this is going to be one of the most exciting Blues Music Award shows ever. And really, we're going to have people in their homes, so we're going to go into people's living rooms, and we're going to really get a feel for the musicians as they play.
That's right. It's going to be broadcast on the Blues Foundation's Facebook page. You can go to the Blues Foundation right now on Facebook and join the event, so you get all of the updates and you get the notice when we're about to go live. You can also watch it if you don't use Facebook. You can watch it on the Blues Foundation's YouTube channel. But what's going to be great about Facebook is that we're going to be open for conversation. So while you're sitting in your living room in Florida, somebody else might be in their living room in France, and everybody can talk to each other while the performances are happening and as the announcements of all the awards are happening. People can cheer for each other, and they can support each other, and they can enjoy the music together and converse about it as a huge worldwide blues community while we're doing this. And it's free, so nobody has to pay for it. It's really something we want to give back to the community at large and create some more healing from the music as we're all sort of shuttered away and somewhat isolated.
Yeah, it's so important also that we honor these nominees, people who've worked so hard to achieve the once-in-a-lifetime Blues Music Award nomination. They deserve the same opportunity to be seen, heard, and appreciated. So it's wonderful you're doing this. And I'm starting to think, as you describe this chat feature, that it's the best of both worlds in some ways, because many of us, during the course of the 6 or 7 hours of the Blues Music Awards, end up in the lobby running into people and having chats that cause us to miss some of the performance, even though I would never give those up in the world because they're such valuable connections with people that we don't get to see often. We can now converse with them and not miss any of the award ceremony. So
Exactly.
there are some advantages.
I think it's going to bring everybody together. It's going to uplift everybody. We've started to collect the content already. It's not going to be live. We don't have the technology to bounce from home to home right in the real moment. So we're collecting all the content so that we can also share the names of all the winners and celebrate the nominees as well. But we're seeing some really great stuff coming over our files. It's all very unique. It's performances that have never been seen before. They are not being shared ahead of time. People watching will see them for the first time together. We're not using high quality, slick video performances, that artists put together. These are real. I'm sitting in my home on my couch. I'm sitting back in my backyard on my porch and singing for you. A lot of acoustic stuff because you can't pull full bands together. A lot of bands don't even live in the same community. And for others, because of social distancing needs, they really can't come together. So it's gonna feel like we're just all in each other's living rooms, hanging out, listening to some music, and having some really nice award celebrations. And we got some other surprises, so I don't want to give it all away.
No, I'm sure that there are many down the pike. But to me, Barbara, in an odd sort of way, we've been brought back to the essence of the blues. The blues is in some cases only 3 chords. The blues music is made in many cases 2 nails with a piece of wire strung between them on a barn in Mississippi. This is the essence of the blues, and we're coming back to that. And I think the power of the content that you're going to be delivering in this Blues Music Awards show is going to be unparalleled in that respect. And we can't wait to see it and be a part of it.
One of the things that's been really fun for me as I look at some of these performances is that we've got some of our blues rock or electric band performers, and they're pulling out their acoustic guitars. So you're going to see some electric guitars, and you're going to see some acoustic guitars, and you're going to see some keyboards, and you're going to see some harps. We're going to see the span, but it's a very interesting to see what the musicians are choosing to give us in their performances. Much more personal, much more raw. So I think it's going to be something people will enjoy, and it's going to be a full show. It's going to go a good couple of hours. It's not going to be the usual 5 until midnight, or was 7 until midnight. The show usually runs. We tightened it up. We got it down to about 4.5, 5 hours, but it won't be that long. But you'll get a good feel for some good blues music, different varieties, different nominees performing, and
it's an unparalleled experience and an unparalleled opportunity for the entire world to be a part of the Blues Foundation's most important night of music of the year, the Blues Music Awards. Thank you, Barbara Newman, for taking the time from Memphis to bring us up to date on this important work to help blues musicians and the incredible plans you put in place for what I know is going to be a stunning Blues Music Awards ceremony on May the 3rd, 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Blues Foundation's Facebook and YouTube channels.
Thank you, Jesse. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to watching and seeing who's watching with us on that Sunday.
We can't wait to be with you, virtual hugs and all.
Yeah.
And wish you and Bruce and everyone in your household the very best for staying in good health and having a wonderful Blues Music Awards ceremony.
Thanks, Jesse. Same to you, and same to all your listeners and viewers. Stay healthy, guys.
Okay. We love you. Take care, Barbara.
Thanks, Jesse. Bye-bye.
Bye.